Some voters still don't know who their councillors are. With less than 2 weeks until the local government elections, we are once again faced with the task of selecting a deserving candidate, one who will make a difference and put people first. But how can we be sure that our preferred candidate will follow through on their promises? Senior reporters Dasen, Thathiah and Govan Whittles join Ronald Masinda to track this story. Let's cross over to them now for an update. Dasen, let's start with you. People are still hesitant about who to give their vote. Why is this the case? What are you finding there?
It's a very big concern, Clement, especially since we spent the better part of the morning in different wards in Matatiele talking to communities. Now, many residents we found are disillusioned, and they have issues ranging from the provision of water to roads. Some talk about an intermittent electricity supply. So there's a lot for them to be jaded about. So we tried to understand, what are they going to do come November the 1st? Are they going to vote? Some have categorically told us that they won't do that. Others say to us that they still haven't decided which party deserves their votes. There are others still who say that they don't even know who their councillor candidates are. So now we've worked our way into the central business district of Matatiele and have with me the DA's councillor candidate for Ward 19, Mr. Conrad King. Thank you so much for joining me. You've just heard me talk to my colleague now about how apathetic some people are, and rightfully so, I would imagine. What are you going to do to change that? Some people don't even know who their councillor candidates are.
Thank you, Dasen. Thank you to your viewers. Thank you for this time. It's nice to have you in our sunny Matat. I think it stems from the fact that they feel that voting doesn't do anything for them. And it was part of me as well, because that's what drove me to be councillor. I'm not a politician, but I couldn't sit back and watch our town just go to smithers, you know. And that's what pushed me that way. And I'm hoping that's what pushes a lot of our community in that direction to vote as well, because their vote is very important.
I'm sure you've been on the campaign trail, and as we know, some candidates, or some councillors rather, they're great magicians, because they appear during election time and then disappear for the rest of the 5 years. How do we know, or how do the residents here know that you're not going to do that?
The residents of Matat know me, and they know me well. And my family's lived here. I was born here. And so if I'm not doing what they had tasked me to do, then it's in their right to say, hey, Conrad, you're not doing what we told we had voted you in to do, you know, and I leave that totally to them, you know.
The Democratic Alliance is the opposition here in Matatiele. What is your first order of business, Conrad, if you get elected into this position?
Yes, there's so much to start with. Firstly, we haven't got a reliable water. Our water is atrocious. We one day it's on, one day it's off. We went 10 days without water, no water truck, no anything. We had to come down and purchase water. Okay? Nothing gets said, no communication, and at the end of the day, it's just expected of you to accept what's been handed out. You know, and I'm hoping to change that. I'm hoping to change that. Our roads as well. Potholes should not be just patched. Before they become a pothole, there should be a maintenance plan in place, you know. There should be infrastructure to resurface that, plans in place to resurface that infrastructure. You know, we've got silos out here. Cost, I think it was around about 14.8 million. That was 7 years ago. Those things are sitting empty.
And that's one of the many projects that we're hearing about in this area. I wish you the best of the luck, Mr. Conrad King there. Clement, I'll also tell you that I did try to reach some of the other councillor candidates in the area. I just could not strike it lucky with many of them. Some were out of town, others were unavailable. I had spoken to the ANC, the AIC, and obviously the DA as well. So hopefully we do manage to speak to some of them during the course of the day.
All right, let's head over to our reporter, Ronald Masinda. Ronald, You spoke to outgoing councillors and hopeful candidates in the Western Cape. What do they have to say?
Well, there's a lot of interesting views from many of the candidates, but also the people in the communities that we visited, areas such as Delft, Kukule, Tunyanga. You do find us at this hour at Lavender Hill, and many people want to speak out over some of the issues that they are grappling with in this area. So without any further ado, I'm going to try and get as many views as possible. Ma'am, first of all, just introduce yourself to our viewers. Do you know your own ward councillor? What issues, or do you know where to take your issues? And if you're voting, will you vote or will you not vote?
I am Mrs. Maulian of number 4 de Villiers Court. And I'm not voting.
Why not, ma'am?
Because the DA do nothing for me. I'm staying in a small flat, one room with 7 children and 3 grandchildren. I went to the council, I went to the rent office, I went to town, I went all over. They just give empty promises for me, the DA. So that's why I don't want to vote for them, because they can't help me. Even I've got 2 children, handicapped children, they're working in CAFTA, and they're sleeping on the floor. What's the use voting for them and they don't help me?
Thank you very much indeed. Let's quickly get a young voice. We know that you're not eligible to vote, but if you wanted someone in power, what changes should they make in your community? Oh, you're a bit shy. Okay, okay, we'll give. You can speak Afrikaans.
I always, when I'm down, I feel trapped inside because my mommy always struggles to take me downstairs, and my cousins and my brother even play outside, but then I'm inside the house. Then I have nothing, because then I'm inside, I feel like I'm trapped inside.
All right, sorry to hear about your story. Take care. Sir, you said you're not going to vote earlier. Why?
No, because when Zala became mayor, I worked for the DA. When Moko became DA, I worked for the DA. But now that I'm in need of the DA, they can't help me, because why? I'm running up and down Marita, Rousseau, Clarence Stace, and Hillary Goliath. They all deny me a downstairs place. They keep on telling me I can't get better. Other friends and families can get downstairs houses. People can even sell their property. But the DA keep protecting those 4 people, and I can't get better. Why can't I get better? I keep asking the question, why not?
All right, sadly we are running out of time, so I'm just going to bring in 1 or 2 voices. Okay, so you're running for the wards, one of the wards. Tell us a bit about what you are promising people.
Okay, I'm Dorothy Soetwater. I'm from Ward 110. Firstly, because I'm so fed up of our ward councillors, the same councillors every term. So our courts looks like, you know, for 50 years never been painted. She promised us on paper even so, our gates. So what I'm promising is, my heart is so sore for our youth. They standing on corners. They don't get jobs. Only the same people of Ward 110 get jobs. I mean, even pensioners are working. So why can't our youth get jobs? And that is my main point, you understand? And looking at our disability people, they can't stay on 3rd floor while young people are staying downstairs. So that is also part of what I want to do. I want to do bring a better life into Lavender.
All right, a very last voice. We've got an issue of gang violence in Lavender Hill. What are some of the issues that you're dealing with in order to try and curb this issue?
Hi there, I'm Mark Skrika. I'm the Provincial High Commissioner for the Nama Royal House. You know, in Lavender Hill, we get promised over TV that there's 1,000 and thousands of law enforcement, but yet we see nothing in Lavender Hill. We got people that lives in backyards that don't even get the necessary assessments or help from anybody around here. You don't see a council around here, you see nobody around here. You understand? But promises being made. Now it's voting time. Now you see the streets are being fixed. This is being fixed. That is. But the whole 4 years they've been nowhere to be seen.
Well, those are the people from Lavender Hill. I've got one more, 30 seconds.
I'm speaking on behalf of Sylvia and her son. Francois, he's disabled, he's mentally, he's got a mental capacity, and she's been asking for help everywhere and no one is helping her. And she's 60, she's a pensioner, she cannot look after him anymore, and she's just asking for a facility for him to go to help her with that, but they're not even doing that for her.
All right, my producer has told me that I can just squeeze in one more. Howard Suvata, just speak on behalf of why are we seeing a lot of people now saying that they are no longer going to vote for a certain party?
I think firstly is that why people don't want to vote. You know, the DA promised the whole metropolitan, all these things itself, especially in Lavendale, Retreat, Kevda, and these places. I mean, we actually are the people that's voting for them, and we're fighting for houses, we're fighting for jobs, we're fighting for all these facilities itself. And at the end of the day, why the people refuse to not voting for the DA is because they're giving a chance for the ANC to make their life better itself. At the end of the day, it's only us that's going to make a decision. So what we intend doing is we want our councillors, DA councillors, is not accountable towards the people who's voting for them. If we are finished voting for the DA, then we don't see them anymore in our community and stuff like that. That's why we're demanding that the DA must move out of the Western Cape. That is our demand.
All right, well, those are the views from the people here in Lavendale. It's back to you.
All right, thank you, Ronald. Let's move over to Govan Whittles. Govan, you have been in Soweto. What have you been hearing from the residents?
That's right, Clement. I've been in Soweto and I also moved through Hillbrow and through Jeppe. Currently still in Maboneng, and I'm here outside the Gezini informal settlement. And a peculiar thing happened earlier when the head of Action SA, Herman Mashaba, went to campaign inside of the hostels. And he actually visited the informal settlement that is based inside of an abandoned parking lot. You'll see it coming into shot just now. This is a government-owned structure which is guarded by some security, but nevertheless there are at least 300 shacks in this area and people are living here. They call it the Gezini area. It's quite close to Kwaimaimai and the famous Marubani Jazz Club, but this is the area where Action SA hopes to show up some support. And I am speaking to one of the residents of this area now here. So thank you so much for joining me. Just tell me, do you know who your ward councillor is and what do you think of them?
Yeah, I do know my ward councillor. And what I can say is since the banning of the first shacks, first and second and third, then the third fire happened earlier this year, April. Then they promised us a lot of things, you see. Then till today, they haven't showed up. They only showed up when they want votes. You know how political parties work.
So what do you think of the elections?
I would say I'll vote. Because, the voting, it's power. You have to vote. You have to decide, you see. Yeah.
All right, I mentioned Action SA a little bit earlier. Let's speak to the ward councillor candidate in this area. His name is Skumbuzo Mhlanga. Thank you so much for your time, Skumbuzo. So how much support does Action SA actually have among the different hostels here in Jeppestown?
Yabonga. I-support sinayo si-Action SA. Sekuningi esikwenzile do ama-campaigns, so we don't have a problem with support. We are ready ukuthi kufike 1 November, then we'll see how far we can go as an organization. And kuwo wonke ama-hostel la around nje la inner city sesifikile kuwo sayithola support asinayo impela inkinga. Yes.
Thank you so much. That's Skumbuzo Mhlanga. He's the candidate here. Someone who's very popular, I must say, Clement. A lot of people in this area seem to know who he is. And earlier, when Action SA tried to campaign in the men's hostel just down the street in Jeppe, a lot of people from the IFP quite unhappy with that. But the Induna of the hostel indicating that they're okay. A lot of people actually support Action SA in this hostel. So it'll be an interesting election, particularly in areas where the outcome had been a foregone conclusion in the past. For now, it's back to you.
Yeah, indeed. It's less than 12 days to go. Thanks to our reporters, Govan Whittles, Dasen, Thathiah, and Ronald Masinda. Still to come here on the